Praveen, can you hear me? Christopher, I think you are getting my voice, but what about Praveen?
I think he has some problem. He just joined and he's connected.
Okay. Yes, there's some issue.
Hello, Praveen.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes. Sorry, I just disconnected the internet. Now it reconnected. Sorry.
Okay, no issues. So let's start it. See, last time we done about class A, IP range and subnet mask and everything. Now we just have to move on class B. Class B look like this. Range of class B is IP range of class B 128 to 191, and valid range look like this. One 191.0.0.191.255.255.254. This is the range of class B. So this is IP range. And guys, subnet mask of class B look like this: 255.255.0.0. So first portion is about network, and last two portion is host. First two portion is for network and last two portion for host. So again, if I do calculate the same thing in binary, so 255.255, I can write like this: 111.111.111.111. For host bits, which is 00, so network bit is equal to 16. So guys, class B having network bits which is 16, and host bits or 0 bits is also 16. Host bit is also 16 in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So class A and class B, we are calculating, but it is based on default subnet mask. Let's say if I do calculate total number of network from class B, like how many network we can calculate from class B. So we just have to use this calculation: total number of network in class B. So it look like this: 2 raised to the power n minus priority bits. So 2 raised power 16 minus 2. See guys, for class B priority bits आपकी कितनी हो जाएंगी? 2. So it means 2 raised power 14, which is 16,384. Means this number of network we can calculate in case of class B. And number of host or user, 2 to the power 16 minus 2. Again, host calculation formula is 2 to the power h minus 2. 2 to the power 16 minus 2, which is 65,500. 65,536 minus 2 is equal to 65,534. So this number of user we can connect in class B. All right. So class B और class A में जो number of users connect होंगे ये आपको इसी तरीके से दिखेंगे similarly, कि मतलब आपके पास number of users जितने हैं वो number of host. Say when we were using class A calculation, so class A having basically large number of users as compared to class B, because there we were using 24 bits for host. And class A range is 0 to 127, but valid range is 1 to 126. So the question comes like, where we do use 127? कहाँ हम use करते हैं 127? 0 is not valid. If someone asks about 127.0.0.0 range, so the whole range of 127.0.0 is for loop back. In class A, we have 127 range, which is for loop back testing. What is loop back testing? I'll to explain it. First, I'm going to write the whole range of class A loop back. So it is 127.0.0.0.0 to 127.255. If I do start writing the valid range, so it look like this: 255.254. This is the valid range. Valid range for loopback. So loopback is for LAN testing, LAN card testing. क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि लूप बैक आपका लैन कार्ड टेस्टिंग होता क्या है? Why we use LAN card testing? So मान लीजिए you are trying to connect from one machine to another machine, and before sending any data to B, first you have to make sure your machine is ready to send data or not. आपका खुद का मशीन रेडी है डेटा सेंड करने के लिए या नहीं, ये चीज आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा. So in order to check it, in order to verify, we can do ping with 127 range. पिंग कमांड होती है कनेक्शन चेक करने के लिए, ठीक है. पिंग कमांड हम यूज करेंगे कनेक्शन चेक करने के लिए. मान लीजिए मैंने इस पे एक आईपी डाला 10.1.1.1 और यहाँ पर डाला 10.1.2. So in order to verify whether my connection is okay or not, whether I'm connecting with this machine logically or not, we have to just use ping command. So ping space 10.1.1.2. I have to check. So in very similar case, if I want to verify my LAN card कि मेरा LAN card सही है नहीं, my LAN card is working or not, my driver is there or not, if there is any issue regarding LAN card, so you want to be get reply from 127 range. You can do ping with any IP range of this 127.0.123. If you are getting reply, it means your loop back testing is successful. last IP itself. So basically this is about your loopback testing, loopback addresses in class A. Class A, class B, in very similar way there is class C also. Class C basically having a range which is 192 to 223. This is the range. One 192.0.0.12, 224.255.2, 223.255.255.254. That's a valid range, you can say. And the subnet mask. Subnet mask of class C look like this. Default subnet mask. जिसमें मैंने कोई change नहीं किया. So that's my default. 255.255.0. So this is my default. Alright, default mask, default subnet mask. So this is my network portion, network portion, network portion, and this is my host portion. So if I ask to you guys number of network bits, how many bits we are getting here from network? So what exact number we are getting here? Network bits. Network bits कितनी इसमें? 88824. So network bit is equal to number of network bits is equal to 24. Number of host bits is equal to 8. So number of network calculation look like this: 2 raised power n minus priority bits again. So priority bits will be 3 and network bits is equal to PB is equal to 3 here. 24. So 24 minus 3. 2 is power 21. This is exact number of network which you get. Host calculation or host bit look like this. Host bit is equal to 8. Total number of host. Total number of host from 8 bit. 2 is power 8 minus 2. 2 is power 8 minus 2 is equal to 256 minus 2. It look like this. It means we do use host number which is 254. So class C basically we use for a small network, small enterprise office host office or home network where users are quite less. And class B for mid enterprise network where we required like good number of users, where we have good number of users and IP required. Class A is for large network where number of users are quite good. So this is about class C, A, B, C. Till I think everyone does understand this. It's very easy. So guys, what is priority bits? First, we have to understand this priority bit, then we'll have to move on ABC classes. Priority bits also known as leading bits. So the funda of leading bit is to define what exactly your leading bit define. So leading bit defines like these bits always be reserved. Priority bits. So first I'm here writing classes and priority bits. A priority bits is 1. Means in case of class A, first bit should be 0 when we do convert in binary. So this is the priority bit of class A. In very similar way, class B, first 2 bits should be like this. First bit should be 1, next bit should be 0. So number of bits here we are getting, which is 1 bit. And here in case of class B, we are getting 2 bits for priority. Class C, 1 1 0. So 3 bits. Bit doesn't means if it is 1 then only we do consider. Bit means either 0 or 1. So we are considering both. So for class C, priority bits is 3. Priority bits actually define the format, like whether it is class A, B or C, you can say. In case of class D, it look like this, 4 bits. 5 bits. But in real time, we only use first 3 classes. See, for class A, it should be 0. I've just write wrong, which is 1. Now just do correction. So see, for class A, if I use any number, class A range is 1 to 127 hardly. So let's say if I type 110, there is 110. If I do convert 110, so of course, in this conversion, we are not going to use 128. मतलब मैं 128 use नहीं करूँगा ना. 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. I have these numbers. So let's say I have to convert, या मुझे binary निकालना है. I have to convert 110 into binary. So it always be formed from these numbers 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. We never use 128. So it means in case of why we are not using 128, because range of class A is itself 1 to 127. So I cannot use 128 because if I'm going to use this bit, so it just exceed the class A range. Class A की range से बाहर हो जाओगे आप. So इसीलिए बोला गया कि first bit should be 0 and this bit we use as a priority bits or leading bit, which defines like how class IP range start and all. So when we do calculate network, so these bits we do not include leading bits or priority bits. In similar way, if I do use class B, so class B range is 128 to 191. So let's say guys, if I'm not using first bit, it is recommended like you should have to use first bit. Then in order to use first bit, you have to on first bit and you cannot use second bit, which is having value of 64. If you use these 2 bits, so you just cross class B range, you just exceeds class B range. So it's become 192. So that's why it says class B format look like this, 1 0. First bit should be 1, next bit should be 0. So these are the leading bits or priority bits. So it actually make us understand like if there is any kind of binary conversion, so we can do identify which class we are using. Let's say for examination perspective, there's one question which come in Ccna exam. It look like this. let's say you have some binary numbers and you have to convert into decimal, and then you have to let's say you have binary numbers and you have to define the class, मतलब कौन सी class से ये belong कर रहा है. So how you do identify this? In order to get the exact class range, we just have to convert into binary to decimal. We have to convert into binary to decimal. Then only we can understand like whether it is class A or B. Correct? But if you know the priority bit concept, if you know the leading bits concept, so on the basis of first 3 bits, you can define if first bit number is 0, first octet, first bit number is 0, so you can easily say it's class A without calculating anything. If you see first 3 bit look like this, so you can say class C. If you get like this 1 0 1 1 something, so you just have to check it the first 3 bits and you can say like whether it is A, B or C. So आपको इससे पता चल गया है ना कि कौन से क्लास का है. So guys, priority bits or leading bit also help out in order to identify our class if IP address is given in binary format. So it's very easy to understand if you have correct idea about priority bits or leading bits. So priority bit always help out to understand or to make understand the things how we can identify this range, this whole range. I think now everyone does understand this priority bit concept. Praveen and Christopher.
Yes, I understand.
Yes, sir.
So priority bits help out. In examination, you may get such questions from IP because IP addressing cover your 10% of syllabus. See, the next class is class D. Class D is for multicasting. Multicasting is 1 to many. So let's say if you want, see, before starting multicasting, let me explain about 3 kind of casting which we use in IPV4. So the first is unicast. Next is multicast. And the last is your broadcast. Unicast is 1 to 1. One to all. So 1 to 1 is always kind of unicast communication.
Okay.
All right. And here we just do kind of communication from one machine to another machine. Let's say I do try to send data from one machine to only to between A to B. So such communication we call unicast. Let's say I have 4 machines A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D can be like this. Let's say I do try to send data from A to D and B only. So such communication we can say multicast, one to many, but not all. If I'm sending data like to everyone, so this is my broadcast. So in IPv4,
Which means a specific group, sir. Specific group.
in case of multicast, yeah, a specific group we can join. If that group or that address listened by the device, then only device can understand or like the make it to know like it is for uh, it is for itself or it is for whom, and only to understand if it is part of that multicast group. Otherwise it's little difficult to understand, like even if broadcast is coming, so broadcast means 1 to all, so it comes to everyone. But when I'm saying multicast, so it is for a specific group. So people those who are listening for that group, they can only do understand. मतलब जिसके लिए आ रहा है वही समझ पाएंगे और किसी के लिए नहीं होगा. So multicasting, for multicasting purpose we use class D. Once we do start routing protocols, so it's become easy to understand the things
Mm-hmm.
related to this multicast. And the range is 224 to 239. This is the range. And the last class is class E, which is reserve. We are not using in production. This range we use with routing protocols. We'll understand later how we do use it. Class E is for reserve. Reserve for research and scientific purpose. So I hope A, B, C, D, and E classes you guys easily understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear.
अच्छा. So guys, this is all about your ABC classes details. Now let's understand the IP distribution process. कि IP कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता है. देखो मैं एक रेंज बताता हूँ. Let's say I'm talking about particular IP range which is 10.0.0.0. IP कैसे निकलता है इसके अंदर से देखना ध्यान से. How we calculate IP address. Let's say we have one range 10.0.0. So guys, the very first IP we called it an ID or network ID. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? नेटवर्क आईडी इसको बोलेंगे, पहला जो आईपी होता है. एंड वी नेवर यूज दिस आईपी ऑन एनी पीसी. This is my network ID and we never use this IP. And the first IP of this class A range is 10.0.0.1. ये मेरा क्या हो गया? फर्स्ट आईपी, फर्स्ट यूजेबल आईपी. नेक्स्ट आईपी लुक लाइक दिस: 2, 4, 6, अब क्वेश्चन आता कहां तक ये जाएगा, 1 2 3 4 5 6, ये ऐसे कहां तक जाएगा? How long we can write this? So it always be like 0 to 255.
5.
Once you write 255, now guys, there is one change. See, it is like I'm rotating this number with respect to 0. Now it's become 10.0.1.0. Does it make sense what I'm explaining here? See, earlier it was like I was rotating this fourth octet with respect to the third octet zero value. All right. अभी मैंने क्या किया, 0.255 के बाद यहां पर 1 लिख दिया. Now I do again write 0.1.1.1, 0.1.1.2, 0.1.1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 6, 7, like this. Now it's again 255. Now it's time to change this number from 1 to 2, 2.0. Now it will move again in respect of 2, 2.2, 2.3. Now it's again become 10.0.2.255. So that's why we call like in case of class A, we have network bit which is first octet, and these three we use for host portion. So it means if I'm writing IP like this 10.0.0.1, so the first octet defines the network. So it is the network of 10 and host IP is 1. करेक्ट, मतलब 10 का नेटवर्क है और होस्ट इसका आईपी क्या है, 1 है. अगेन network is 10, this is class A, and network is 10 and host IP is 2 3 4. Now again once you do complete 2, then it's time to move into 3, 3.1. Now you can do rotate till 55.0. All right, once you write like this 255.0, then it is 255.1, and at last it look like this 255.255. Once you fulfill these two octets, now it's time to move here 1.0.0. Guys, now you can understand like how that's why I was telling like in case of class A we can do calculate 2 raised to the power 24 minus 2 host, because these are the host IPs which we can configure in machine. ये सारे मेरे यूनिक आईपीज है जिनको मैं एक मशीन के अंदर क्या कर सकता हूँ, कॉन्फ़िगर. I can do configure all these IPs in a machine. So that's why I'm saying these are my unique number. 2 is for 24 minus 2. 1 6 777 2 1 4. These these number of IPs we are getting in class of A. This is huge number you can say. And ये numbers कैसे निकल रहे हैं? It is based on calculation. Now I'm calculating like this, so I'm getting the numbers in very similar way. Everyone does understand this? See, then 1.0.0.1. Praveen,
Yes,
do
sir.
you
Yes, sir.
understand this? So
Yes.
see, now it's again become 255. Once you done 255, so you don't have to change this one number. You just have to make it steady, and you have to rotate it again this octet. 1.1.1.1, 10.1.1.1.1, 255. So at last, when it comes, so it look like this: 255.255.254. And when it comes like this, 255.255.255. So now the whole range of 10 we completed. Now it's time to move into 11. So this is the exact and actual calculation of IP, which is in IP version 4. Guys, any issue? I hope सबको पता चल गया होगा calculation.
Yes, sir. All
Once you class A, if I write like anything, let's say I'm writing 12.0.0.1. So one is host bit. Host means on the basis of host bit we can just make it unique. IPs आपके क्या हो रहे हैं? Unique बन रहे हैं. On the basis of host bit we are making it unique, and this number, first number, will define the network. So the network is this IP belongs to class A, and range is 12. IP range is 12.0.0.1. Host bit is 1. मान लीजिए मैंने एक IP लिखा 15.0.0.10. So again 10 is host portion and 15 is my network. तो देखो मान लो कि आपको 10 की रेंज से ही you have this range 10.0.0 network ID, and you have to use this network ID and ID to distribute IPs in your LAN. So how we can do distribute? मान लीजिए मेरे पास क्या 5 machines है. So I can write like this 10.0.0.1. This is unique IP. मैंने मशीन A को प्रोवाइड कर दिया, दूसरी को क्या कर दूंगा 2 for B and 3 and 4 and 5. Correct?
Yes.
So if I write about this IP, so it is class A. सबको पता है कैसे पता चला मुझे क्लास A? फर्स्ट नंबर को देखकर. रेंज इज 10. क्लास A IP range is 10, and this is network ID. Now guys, it's time to understand network ID. Network ID represent bulk of IPs, or you can say it represents the whole range of IP address. Let's say if I want to block all these IPs on any device, let's say I want to block all these devices. I don't want to allow these subnets. So I can, instead of blocking each and every IP, I can do block the network ID. So if I block this network ID 10.0.0.0, whatever the IP range fallen in between this range, it get automatically blocked. Whatever the IP range lies in between 10.0.0, it automatically get blocked, and you won't be able to communicate with whole IP range. So this is the best way of best way to use network ID. If you want to allow all IPs, so instead of allow each and every IP, we just have to allow network ID. So that's use of network ID. I hope everyone understands this network ID concept.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Guys, after completing this all basic, we just have to move on next part, which is about IP subnetting. सी अभी तक जितना हमने पढ़ा ये सारा क्या था, बेसिक्स था, लाइक हाउ वी यूज आईपी एंड आईपी एड्रेसिंग. नाउ इट्स टाइम टू अंडरस्टैंड द यूज, इंडस्ट्रियल यूज, या आप बोल सकते हो एप्लीकेशंस क्या है, हाउ वी डू एग्जैक्टली इम्प्लीमेंट आईपी एड्रेसिंग स्ट्रक्चर और IPv4 स्ट्रक्चर को मैं कैसे एक पूरे के पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इम्प्लीमेंट करूंगा, और हाउ वी डू इम्प्लीमेंट आईपी एड्रेसिंग स्ट्रक्चर और IPv4 एड्रेसिंग को मैं कैसे यूटिलाइज करूंगा. तो उसके लिए आपके पास मेथड क्या, सबनेटिंग. Now we can start subnetting. So there is like several things which we have to understand under this subnetting. First is your classful, classless concept, subnet creation, small subnets creation, CIDR, VLSM, variable length subnet mask, and route summarization or aggregation. So these are the parts of IPv4 subnetting. Means we have to cover all these things in subnetting. Route summarization also known as supernetting also. So if you understand all these cases, so there is no more about IP. There is no more concept of in IPv4 for addressing or subnetting related. If you understand all these things, classful, classless, subnet creation, CIDR, VLSM, route summarization, supernetting. If you understand all these things, so it's become very easy to understand IP related things. So guys, we have to cover one by one all these things. ये सारी चीजें आपकी आएंगी सबनेटिंग से रिलेटेड. अब बुक्स को देखते हैं एक बारी, बुक में आपका कैसे दिया गया ये सारी चीजें. यू गाइस कैन यूज द बुक आल्सो, वॉल्यूम 1. introduction to subnetting. But before subnetting, I'll do show you the basics. Where is the basics? See here how all these things it is showing. देखो बता रहा क्लास ए होगा लॉक जैसा दिखा रहा है, इट इज शोइंग लॉक साइन. क्लास ए नेटवर्क बिट इज इक्वल टू 8, होस्ट बिट इज इक्वल टू 24. क्लास बी होस्ट बिट इज इक्वल टू 24 16, host class C 8. Format of unsubnetted ABC network. And here it is showing some calculation also. Below actually, below is showing some calculation also. So for class A, you can check these number of hosts we can calculate. Class B and class C similarly. Borrowing host bit to create subnet bits. So it's giving some example of subnet creation, which we have to understand in next session. IP subnetting and designing, these things we have to understand. But I'm just checking for some fundamentals. Where is fundamental things? ABC classes. See, this is NIC card. जो LAN कार्ड की हम लोग बात कर रहे थे, ये हर एक मशीन में LAN कार्ड होता है. So it is my Ethernet card, जहाँ पर मैं वायर लगाता हूँ, and RJ45 connectors, and this is LAN switch. SFP पोर्ट, फाइबर ऑप्टिक का केबल होगा तो ऐसे होगा. ये सब चीज़ें आपको बताऊंगा मैं आगे. Different architect also given here. See, data center, campus LAN. I think there is also about fundamentals of IP addressing that I'm trying to show you. So आप एक बार उसको पढ़ भी सकते हो. So guys, you can just go through with this. Yeah, with these things कि आपका मतलब बेसिक्स क्या है सबनेटिंग का. तो मैं अगले सेशन में जब आपको नेक्स्ट कराऊंगा, so it's become easy to understand. So you just go through with this first para and try to understand these things कि सबनेटिंग है क्या, क्योंकि it is all about subnetting fundamentals. ये चैप्टर नंबर 11 which is IPv4 subnetting. तो एक बार आप इसको पढ़ लेना, then it's become easy. Say you just happen to be at the sandwich shop when it was selling the world's longest sandwich. You are pretty hungry, so you go for it. Now you have one sandwich, but because it's over 2 kilometers long, you realize it bit more than you need for lunch, all by yourself. To make sandwich more useful and more portable, you chop the sandwich into meal size pieces and give the pieces to other folks around you who are ready for lunch. So subnetting is basically to dividing a large network into small IP subnets. So here it is correlating with big sandwich. So such examples you can just go through. Then in next session when we do start it, it's become very easy to understand. All right, guys. Praveen and
Yes, sir.
Christopher, you guys have book of CCNA Volume 1.
No, no, sir. No, sir. Could you please
Sir,
share?
possible.
Yeah, I'm sharing
Please
here in
share.
chat.
Okay,
Just
okay.
download it.
Okay.
And some CCNA PPTs also. Basics of networking. Volume 2, you guys can also download it. It's quite lengthy. It's around 50 MB. आप भी डाउनलोड कर लो. आ रहा है वॉल्यूम 2 है. ठीक है. Guys, you downloaded it. These three
Downloading, sir.
content.
Take downloading.
You done with downloading?
Not yet, sir. It's downloading.
Not yet. Take 1 minute maybe maximum.
All right. So I hope till you guys understand everything because it's very easy.
Yes, sir. done now.
No, not for me yet. Thank you.
Sir, do we have the syllabus, sir, for the new CCNA 200.301? I think.
Yes,
Okay.
this is the syllabus.
Okay.
It's pretty cool from last syllabus.
Okay. Sir, this will cover the redundancy and all, like HSRP,
Yes,
VRRP.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's have only HSRP part,
Okay.
but it's very similar to
VRRP.
VRRP.
Okay.
Once I explain HSRP, so I'll do cover VRRP also. No worries.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.
But in book, it is only HSRP.
Okay. Okay. Most of the interviews they are asking
Yes, yes,
redundancy
yes.
about HSRP, VRRP, GLBP, something.
Yeah, I'll do explain everything. Yeah, we called it next hop redundancy protocol.
Yeah, correct.
So it's kind of HA for routers.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
In firewalls, we understand high availability with two firewalls, a group of firewall we use.
Yeah.
So the same kind of concept we can use here in HSRP also.
Okay. Okay.
So what is the difference between routing protocol and routed?
Yes, there is difference. See, the routing protocol basically help out to choose the best path between
Right.
source to destination.
Okay.
And routed protocol will carry the data packets like IP version 4 and IP version 6. If I'm
Okay.
trying to send any data from A to B, so routed protocol will help out, and it is responsible to carry my data packets in form of information or in form of IP header, you can say. So routed
Okay.
protocol examples are IP version 4, IP version 6, IPS, Apple Talk. These are routed
Road
protocols.
protocols. Okay.
And
Oh,
routing protocols, when we do combine routed and routing protocol, then we can only do communicate. Routed protocol basically help out in order to carry data packets, and routing protocol choose the best path
Mm.
or responsible for routing and choosing best path.
Advertising the route, correct, sir? Advertising.
Advertising routes and choosing best path. When we do start routing, so I'll do prove all these things practically. No
Mm-hmm.
worries.
Okay, sir.
It's
Okay.
very easy.
so in routing protocols, BGP won't come in CCNA syllabus, right?
Yes, it's just introduction part.
Just
Okay.
introduction. Okay.
There is no more nothing detail in BGP, but I'll do explain it till you guys understand. Because
It's
BGP,
a big topic, correct, sir? BGP. If we choose
yes,
BGP, it's a
BGP
long.
will take around 3 months to cover only the
Oh.
BGP. It's quite lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Okay.
n number of rules,
Okay.
but you can understand the neighbor type and all, IBGP neighborship, EBGP.
Uh-huh.
All good. I think you all download it now.
Yeah, yeah, yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
All down, all.
Okay. So we'll meet in next session tomorrow.
Hmm. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thanks.